Hello and welcome to another episode of my Working with Todoist series. My name is Pullein and this week it's all about goal planning and goal tracking using Todoist. Now last year Todoist brought out a feature called boards, and this gave us a wonderful opportunity to be able to track our goals throughout the year. And that's what I want to show you this week. Now this is linked to my recent Todoist office hours talk, which we did earlier this week, and I will link to that video in the show notes below. Now before we go any further, I would just like to say, if you do get any value from this video, then please help me by clicking on that like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you want to get all the latest tips, tricks and news on using Todoist, then please subscribe to my channel. Okay, let me take you into my Todoist now and I will show you how you can set and track your goals in Todoist. Okay, so what I've done here is I've set up 4 sample goals that you may or may not wish to do yourself. Now these are typical common goals that people have, and what I want to do is to give you the overview of how to set these up. Now, there are a couple of things that I need to go into a little extra detail to explain the reasoning behind it. So let's get this one open first. This is a typical one to get your weight down by however many pounds that you wish to do. So in this case, what I've done is I've got my deadline date, which is the 30th of March. Now, what I want to do is just give you a quick way of doing this. So let's go into this particular task. Well, before we do that, what I should do is just point out, as you'll notice right here, there is no checkbox here because this is a goal. I don't necessarily need to check this off. This is just my little reminder. When I get to completing this goal, because we always achieve our goals, then I can delete it. Or if you really want to include it in your karma points, you can deactivate the non-completable task. So the way to do that first up is what we do to create a non-completable task is we put the asterisk and followed by the space bar. So if we go into a little zoom in here, you can see I've got the asterisk right here and then a space. So if I remove these, so I'll just remove that now and we'll just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to click save. What you'll see is the actual checkbox comes back. To remove the checkbox, all you need to do is, again, I'll zoom in for you so you can see what I'm doing here, is put the asterisk, space bar, click save, and you've got the non-completable task. Now, moving a little bit further down here, what I want to do is show you this bit here, which is the dating. So what I've done is I bolded the date, as you can see right there. I've got 2 exclamation marks, and then I've done this in square brackets, and there's a reason behind that. Let's just remove that for a moment. And if I type in by 30th of March, you'll notice that because I have date recognition on, what will happen is that comes up with a date. But that's not necessarily what I want to do. And I found a quick kind of runway. It's purely accidental that I came across this. What I can do is if I put a square bracket there, I'm just going to correct my little typo, you'll see that I get the MAR, get the date. But if I close the square bracket, it removes it. Now, what I want to do is I want to bold this because I really want to see the date highlighted. So I'm just going to put 2 exclamation marks at the front and 2 exclamation marks at the end of what I want to bold. When I click save, you can now see that is bolded. So we can zoom out of that. We'll just close that down. And you'll see now what I've got is by 30th of March. So it stands out, does the date. Let's go back into this. Now, one of the things and one of the ways of making sure that you remain motivated in order to complete your task is to have a very strong why. Now, there are 3 parts to achieving a goal. There's the what. So we've got the what right here, and we need to be very specific here. If you just say, I want to lose weight, so lose weight is the goal, well, skip your dinner tonight and take your weight reading tomorrow morning, and the chances are you will have lost weight. But I guess that's not what you really mean about what it is you want to lose weight. So what you need to be is very, very specific. Either you put something like to lose 20 pounds or to lose 10 pounds or whatever, or you may have a target weight. In this case, in this example, I've got a target weight. So get weight down to 165 pounds or 11 stones or 85 kilograms, which is actually incorrect. It's not 85 kilograms. I think it's probably around about 75 kilograms. But hey, this is just my example. Now, with the date, I don't schedule these because I've got the date right here, and these are goals. These are not tasks. These are goals, and this is something that what I want to be doing is I want to be looking for the tasks itself. Now, the next thing is when you're doing the what, why, and how. So what specifically do you want? The why comes next. The why is so important because it's your why, your reason for doing it, that is actually going to keep you motivated on doing it. So in this particular example, and this is just an example, because I love my family and I want to be around in years to come to be there to support them and never to be a burden on them. And I bolded that. So we click in here. Again, you'll notice that this is actually no check mark here. Because once again, I've adopted the asterisk and the space bar. And what I've done here is I've bolded the whole statement. So I put 2 exclamation marks before the why and 2 exclamation marks at the end. So I've actually done that. Now, you can flag this if you wish. I'm not going to, but you can, if you want to flag that as a very important, it's entirely up to you. So that's how you get the actual task here. So what I've got now is the why. Sorry, the how. The how is the strategy. How are you going to do this? Now, obviously, most of us know that if you really want to lose weight, there is a simple formula. Less calories in, more calories out. So eat less, move more. If you like, that's a simple formula. Now, everybody knows the strategy or the tactics to lose weight. The problem is most people fail at it. So it can't be the strategy. There can be nothing wrong with the strategy because losing weight, strategy for losing weight is really simple. The reason why most people fail at something like this is because in order to lose weight, you're going to feel hungry. And when you feel hungry, that overrides your reason, or if your reason isn't strong enough, your hunger will override your reason. And that's what you want to avoid. So this part here, your why needs to be strong because this is going to give you the motivation. This is going to be that constant reminder every time you want to eat that piece of chocolate cake or every time you want to have that fried chicken. You come back to your why. Why do you want to lose weight? So in this case, I've got a very, very simple way of losing weight here. Do exercise. So what I've done is I've increased the activity of doing my of the eat less, move more. So let's just go back here. What we've got here is exercise. Now I want to point something out here. Most people I see, what they do is they actually just put in exercise. Now, okay, that reminds you to do exercise, but it's not, to me, it's not strong enough. You need a strong, actionable word, and there cannot be a more stronger, actionable word than do. So do exercise. Right here in the actual dating, I put this every day. We're going to lose this weight by the end of March. So we need to do some form of exercise, even if it's going for a walk every day. So we need to do that. So every single day. But if you wish, you can do like every 2 days. That would be a date, and you could do it that way, and it's going to come on. And then what you can do is until, if you wish, until 30th of March. There you go. And what I've done now is it will end on the 30th of March. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to make sure I lose weight. So every day until the 30th of March. Now, one of the questions that came up in the actual event that we did with Todoist was, what do you do with your tasks once you've done them? Now, something like losing weight, if you want to keep the weight off once you've done your exercise, once you've achieved your goal, what you need to do is you need to move this task into your recurring areas of focus. Because let's be honest, if health isn't in an area of focus of yours, you're going to have major problems in a few years' time. So make sure that once you've achieved your goal, get it into your recurring areas of focus. Get that reminder to do your exercise. Let's go back. Now, by the way, one thing that I find a lot of people get confused at, if you click out of a task like this, remember I'm now in a subtask. So if we just go back here, this is a subtask of a main task. So when I go in here, if you click here, you just go back to the main board, and a lot of people go, huh, what happened to my task? So the way to do this is when you click into there, make sure you use this little link arrow here. So just go back there and it'll take you back to the original parent task. So that's how to set it up. You've got your what, which is very strong. You've got your why, which again is very strong. And then you've got the strategy, the how are you going to do it? Now, one more thing. Remember, the weakness in most people's goals is not what they want to achieve, and it's not the strategy. Most people can figure out the strategy, whether you want to earn more money, get a master's degree, whatever it is you want. The strategy is all, just Google it. You'll find out how you need to do it. So it cannot be the how that's causing the reason why people actually fail at their goals. It's not necessarily the what, because let's be honest, even if you wanted to go to the moon, there is always going to be a strategy to get there. It might not be an easy strategy, and you may have to spend many years going to university, trying to get into an astronaut training program, but there is a strategy. So the problem is never likely to be the what or the strategy. The problem is always going to be the why, the reason why you want to do it. You know, the idea of going to the moon really does not resonate with me. I have no interest in going to the moon. I do find space interesting, but I don't particularly want to go there to find out more. So your why needs to be very, very strong. So when we're talking about the motivation, this is the area where most people will fall down because their reasons why for doing something is not strong enough. So let's go into here. The comments section in Todoist gives you a wonderful, wonderful way of tracking and measuring your goals. Now, what I do here is we got to bring in The Rock. So here's a great picture of The Rock in his gym, the Iron Paradise. And I love that vest. I love hardest worker in the room. To me, that is a motivating statement. And what better than to have it on The Rock himself? So there's a great picture to give you that little extra motivation when you're feeling, I don't really want to go to the gym today. Well, you can go into your pictures and you can say, no, I am going. Another one, if let's say that your reasons for losing weight is because you want to look fantastic at the gym, well, The Rock has you covered there too. So you can just go and get a picture of The Rock and you can put that into your image. So whether you're male or female, I mean, obviously if you're female, The Rock is probably not going to be your motivation, and you can get a picture of perhaps somebody that you admire, the way they look, and you can put that in and say, one day I am going to get into shape so I can look and feel as confident as this person. Another thing, particularly with weight loss, you can actually do you can actually put in your tracking here. So let's say that you are trying to get down to 165 and you start at 179 pounds on the 1st of January. You can actually track your weight loss. Take your weight every week and just add in the title. And again, what I've done here is I'm using that formatting of bolding, which is the 2 exclamation marks, as you can see, followed by the 2 exclamation marks there. So you can actually use the same principles right there to add the actual numbers or the date. Now here, by the way, if you want to edit any of these, you get the edit key right next to the actual comment, so you can edit there, or you can even trash it. So there you go. That's how you can do that. So I think we've got ourselves covered on that particular goal. So moving on to another type of goal. That one's the one that most people will struggle with. Let's say that we want to improve our education. I've got one here, which is something I would like to do at some point in the future. So I want to complete Seth Godin's Alt MBA course. Why? Again, the reason why, because I believe, and I do, in continuous self-development, and I want the skills and know-how to give back to the world and support worthy causes. So once again, we've got a task related to this. Now, in this case, the Alt MBA costs $4,450, the kind of money I don't actually have lying around the house that I could just use right now to join the course. So I need to save that money. Again, I've got a deadline here of October 2021. So going into the subtask here, I've got here the task related to the saving money. So send $500 to my savings account every month. So if I go in here, I've got the task on here is every 15th. So the 15th of every month. So every AV15 means every 15th. Now, a quick tip here. Let's just say that on this particular day, you cannot send the money because your salary was late or whatever reason. You can switch that date and you can switch it to Tuesday. Now, if you go back into here, although it's now set up for Tuesday, I've actually it's still showing every 15. And the reason for that is because you've only changed this specific event. So it doesn't change anything when you change the date. And I'll show you where that might come in handy a little bit later. So let's just say this is this particular one. Moving out of the city and to the East Coast. Again, by the 20th of September. So I've got the dates, I've got my what. I've also got my why, which is right here. And I've now got these little tasks. So what I've got here is this particular one, 6th of March. So this is the date that I want to take a trip to the East Coast for house hunting. Now, right now on the 6th of March is a Saturday, but let's just say that this is coming up on the 1st of every month, which it is. So this would normally be 1st of March. But as you can see, the 1st of March is a Monday. Probably not a good day to go house hunting, or rather it probably is, but you're going to be working. And let's say you can only do your house hunting on a weekend. All you have to do is shift it over to the 6th and it will change to the 6th of March, but it won't change the overall date that you set when you originally did the task. So there you go. There's one. Let's go back to the main task here. Make a decision on which property we want to buy. Now, bearing in mind that the deadline date I've set for this goal is the 20th of September. So the 1st of August gives me enough time to be able to do all the paperwork and pay the money and everything to buy the house by the 20th of September. So I know the date that I need to make a decision. And although I don't normally date things for future events beyond a week because things change too often, this is one of those dates that I am going to make sure I keep in there. So that's how I do that. And again, you can actually use the comments for your motivation. So I can say, this is the kind of house that I want to buy, I wish. And you can do that very, very easily. So that's how to set up these kind of goals. So what I really wanted to get through to you is the strategy, i.e. the tasks, the how you're going to do it is less important than the reason why. You need to be very, very clear on what it is you want, and you need a deadline date because the deadline gives that sense of urgency. Where you want to be really focused on is your why, your reasons for doing it. Because when you get that part right, when it really is your why, not somebody else's why, that's when you get really motivated to achieve your goal. And on those occasions when you don't feel motivated, that's when you want to be reading your statement because that's going to get you motivated. And if necessary, you need the pictures for the extra motivated, get them thrown into the comments. So that's how you can track your goals in Todoist. Now, one final thing is, one of the best piece of advice I can ever give you is don't go crazy with your goals. Like, don't try and do all 4 goals in one quarter. So this is by the 30th of March. So this is my focused goal for the first quarter. This is going to be my focused goal for the third quarter. This will be, let's just say for argument's sake, this is my second quarter goal, and this one will be my fourth quarter goal. So here is your goals list. This is where you can add future goals that you haven't quite developed yet, but you do want to develop. So you know you have to focus on these. And this is the goals that you've already set up and you want to get working on in these quarters. So hopefully that's given you some ideas about how you can actually manage and track your goals in Todoist. It is, particularly since we've got boards, it is a very, very powerful tool in order for you to be able to do that. And I think it's worth looking at, and particularly using these boards, it really does make life so much easier. If you haven't seen the video that I did with Todoist earlier this week, there is a link in the show notes below, so do check that out. We go into a lot more detail and I answer quite a lot of questions you might have, and to how you can do this and in different scenarios. And it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done, so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.